Welcome back to LimpQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until the sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, comes out, which is today in 137 days. Today is also Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you're having great holidays and you get to spend some time with your family, maybe get to play some Breath of the Wild or some other video games you enjoy. Hopefully today is a very cozy day. I wanted to make a quick video today because, like I've been saying in the recent uploads, I've basically been pre-recording these videos because I'm also gone for Christmas. I hope that's fine. I will be back tomorrow to actually record live again. But I wanted to make a brief video today saying something about every village in Breath of the Wild, which is something I haven't actually done ever, not really on stream as well, and kind of rating them, what is the best village and why. I will be talking about different things when it comes to villages. One of them is being their aesthetic, another one is being their usefulness. You will understand later, especially when we come to Tarrey Town. And another one is gonna be their story. Their story to me is very important. Different villages, so in my opinion, for example, Zora's Domain, right, is has a much stronger story than something like Lurelin, where there's basically no story. The story feels unfinished. Even if Lurelin was my favorite aesthetic village, which it isn't, my favorite aesthetic village, spoiler alert, is what we're looking at right now, especially now that it's getting nighttime. We really get to see why. I think it does also count. Let me talk about Zora's Domain real quick. It's, in my opinion, the most beautiful village in the game. Like what can you say? This like nice bridge leading up to it. It's absolutely amazing aesthetic. The glow that you see at nighttime. The location in general. I think there's not much to say. I think most people agree with me already. Rito Village is pretty and might be a runner-up to me. But just this walk up to Zora's Domain is kind of unmatched in any other village for me. When it comes to story, it also is incredibly strong. There's obviously the Mifa storyline here, which got me personally emotional. This is also the reason why I liked Varuta as a divine beast from a narrative perspective and casually the most. But I would just say Zora's Domain is on the #1 spot for me. I will go through these other villages and think about this again. Tarrey Town being a potential contender for only one reason. But yeah. That's it for Zora's Domain, really. When it comes to usefulness, I will say it's a bit on the low side. Ice arrows are a decent resource, but you can buy them easily in Gerudo Town and also much easier in Tarrey Town, where you can buy arrow types the most efficient. Then this shop here sells some fish, which doesn't really stand out either. And there's obviously an inn here, but that's pretty much it. There's a location here where you can repair your trident, which I think I still have. It's not a good weapon though, if you've seen my weapon tier list on my main channel. So that considered, it's whatever, but aesthetically, story-wise, it's great, and probably my favorite. But let's move on to, and I'm probably not going to be doing, unless there's a quick Korok that I can grab, like here in Tarrey Town, I'm probably not going to be focusing on Koroks too much. But let's talk about Tarrey Town, which is actually not going to be present for me on this file because I haven't really done it. Tarrey Town, by far, takes the cake for the most useful city in the game. You can warp there very easily by warping to the shrine, which every city has this. I personally always put my travel medallion into Tarrey Town when I play casually. But the shops are really what seals the deal. Yes, there's this person that sells overpriced gemstones, a little Goron. And you can buy outfits there that you can buy in other locations. But there is the guy on the roof that can sell you your Hylian shield bag and other armor that you may have unintentionally sold. There's an extremely useful arrow vendor where you can buy each arrow type and for some reason a random ancient gear, which I never really understood. That's pretty much the selling point for me, that specific arrow salesman. It is a nice village, obviously. It has a nice story to it, probably the best side quest in the game. Not quite Zora's Domain level for me, but it's definitely up there. And right now, this would probably rank #2 for me because it is pretty. It has nice story. It's not my favorite aesthetic because it's basically just some blocks, but it is in a really nice location. A color obviously being super pretty, and the usefulness really, really pushes it up a couple ranks. I will say though that when we get to another village later, that might be another contender for my #2 village in the game. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about that one later. Now, I will be trying right now to get this Korok seed real quick, which, by the way, is one of the worst Korok seeds in the game, and I will tell you why. Obviously, you don't even want to think about doing this Korok seed in the rain. But this is the next part. So the only way this is really reasonable is by climbing back up here, then backflipping, and then gliding towards the last flower, because otherwise it's super easy to slip down there. It's an annoying flower chase to get, especially when you're trying to go fast. But yeah, that's where Tarrey Town is for me, and we even got a Korok for progression at the same time. We are almost at 35% right now. Now, the next village I want to briefly talk about is Goron City. Goron City is visually not my favorite. There's some really nice shots of Goron City, where you see the volcano in the back. When it's very clear out, that's nice. The Goron's design is hilarious and amazing, and I like it a lot. But story-wise, I wasn't a huge fan of Elden. Yunobo is not a super likable character to me personally. I'm sure some other people liked him. Daruk is kind of whatever. No, sorry, not Daruk. Bludo, who's the current chief. Daruk is a really cool character, and I made him. I liked him a lot more after doing the Champions Ballad, the DLC. That's a really cute cutscene. He is just this reliable character, reliable good Daruk. He's nice, but again, aesthetically, yes. The village has nice music. It's kind of like built in the stone, the lava pools, the metal bridges. It's definitely a nice design, but it's definitely not my favorite aesthetically. I know I'm saying definitely a lot, I apologize. But usefulness as well. Unfortunately, I have to rank really low. So the general shop here is kind of a joke. They sell 3 of each arrow for some reason. Goron Spice, you need that for one singular quest, and then Rock Salt. The shop is really not out there. The outfit being kind of underwhelming. And especially, again, speaking about this, I haven't actually mentioned this yet. The outfit in Zora's Domain is obviously basically kind of free if you do some quests, and it's okay. Swim speed up is fine. The Zora armor being very good, being able to swim up waterfalls occasionally. This armor is only really useful in Elden. When we get to Rito Village later, that will be very different. This is Rito Village by far having the best armor in the game, usability-wise. But yeah, I will rank this one pretty low, probably not lowest, because I like it aesthetically enough, right? Enough that I'm not gonna say I hate it, especially with the volcano in the backdrop. And the story is fine, you know, and the usability is not great, but there's a village I dislike more, is basically what I'm saying. That's what I'm hinting towards that, but this is probably gonna be second to last place because of the things I've mentioned. I love the Goron design. Like, don't get me wrong, these guys are adorable. And the story here was fine, but it wasn't my favorite. That's basically what I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about Korok Forest Sanctum, which is technically describable as a village, but it's pretty much just a tree, so I'm not going to count that one. What I will count, though, is Rito Village. And Rito Village is going to be between second and third place for me, I can already tell you guys, for multiple reasons. Aesthetic, second best in the game, in my opinion. Having this nice village around the huge like stone pillar, especially later when Meadow sits on top of it. Great character design. I love the chief design. I think he's called what is he called? Caneli, I think, in English, but I'm not even sure right now. His name changes depending on the language, and I play in so many different languages because different languages are fast. But here, aesthetically an amazing village. Again, walking up to the village itself is already beautiful. Usability wise, pretty good shops. The general shop is very nice in the fact that it has bomb arrows, which is something that can be rare to get, especially in the early game. It actually gives you all ingredients you need for every cake-related quest in the game. These are usable for the monster cake, which is a quest, the fruit cake, which is a quest, and the Silent Meunier, which is a quest here in the city itself. The sun shrooms also being useful for early game cold protection. And speaking of cold protection, the armor that you can buy here, I would say, is probably the most useful in the game. What makes it so good is that you don't only need cold protection here for the Divine Beast quest. No, you also need it in Hebra. You need it in the Gerudo Canyon. You need it at nighttime in the desert. It's such a useful armor, and it's also very cool looking. The Snow Quill set probably being one of my favorites. So especially the headpiece, actually, it's this really nice decoration, and the feathers to Link's hair. That shouldn't go into the rating too much, but yeah. The story also pretty enjoyable. Not my favorite, I will admit. I like Revali as a character, and I like my boy. Yeah, I'm struggling with the English names. Revali and Teba as a character. But they're not my favorite. They're cool, they're the boys, you know. But aesthetically, this village is top-notch. Music, absolutely great. Useful armor, pretty useful shop. I will say, because it's a main village and it's that much prettier than Tarrey, and there's so many other ways to get arrows, that this will be number 2. And Tarrey, for me, will be in the number 3 spot. And number 1, Zora's Domain still. But that also means we still have some villages left that might change this. And there's already one that I'm assuming right now some people are already thinking about and are saying, what is this village gonna be in the rating? I do want to show you one thing that has heavily influenced my opinion of Zora's Domain recently. Let me actually wind bomb there. Which is, I'm pretty sure technically this is technically the intended way to get to Rito Village. But it took me quite a long time to find this specific entrance into the village, because I took a different one casually. Let me see if this wind bomb will work. Angle looks fine. Also, you can see again here that the pathway leading up to the village is very nice. But that's not the best part. The best part is up there. This cave. You will get through to Rito Village through this cave if you follow the bridges around there, going from the Tabantha Bridge stable. And if you do that, you will be welcomed with this shot. Like, damn. This is just so cool looking. It definitely pushed my preference for this village's aesthetic even further, but this is such a nicely set up shot. Took me a while to find this, but yeah, let's move on. Currently Rito Village number 2 position for me, number 3 being Tarrey, and then number 4 being Goron City. We still have 3 villages to go through though, that being Gerudo, Kakariko, Hateno. Let's go to Gerudo Town first. Now, Gerudo Town is something that I really like aesthetically. Not my favorite, but better than Eldin, in my opinion. One thing that I always hated is how you are still restricted even after completing the main quest. You're still restricted to wear the Gerudo armor, and it would have made so much sense for me that after you actually help them out, that they accept you either way. But that's not the case. That being said though, the storyline, Urbosa as a character, and the entire Gerudo storyline is my second favorite in the game, and will definitely push my liking of this place up quite a bit. So what I really love about the city is obviously the water running around everywhere. It's a relatively basic design, other than the fact that we have, of course, this huge water source at the top, supplying the entire city with water. Usability-wise, this is an amazing city. Absolutely amazing. It might be better than Tarrey Town. For the simple reason that you can get durians here, an absolutely broken resource, different fruits, different amulets, once you've done the quest line here, that can protect you from cold, from heat, different armor, you can get different mushrooms, you can get different resources over there. Like, compare this to Goron City, which, by the way, I didn't mention that one shop in Goron City that sells meat, but it's so much worse than when you get here, like seared steaks, gourmet steaks, every single arrow type in the game, aplenty, kind of like Tarrey Town. Like, usability wise, amazing. Armor that you get here, again, not super useful. The storyline is up there, so all things considered, I think Gerudo Town for me, with the quest line, the usability, and the aesthetic, is gonna make it into number 4 for me, just behind Tarrey Town, just because Tarrey Town is so much more useful, and I like the location of Tarrey Town a little bit more, and not being restricted to armor. But this is where Gerudo Town will be in the rating for me right now. Now, we do have to talk about 2 more cities, and that is Kakariko and Hateno. Sorry, and Lurelin. I almost forgot about this, so we have to talk about 3 more cities. Let's go to Kakariko. Kakariko, to me, is very nice aesthetically. Everything else is very whatever. Now you do get the Sheikah armor here, which is aesthetically one of the best ones in the game. Everyone loves the mask. The shop sells arrows and fire arrows, which is great early game. So the village really does what it's supposed to do. It kind of has these like nice little random side quests around, which I will count towards story. Obviously Impa, Paya, which are great characters. But it's not really completely doing it for me when it comes to story. Aesthetically great, especially at night. It kind of seems like this like Naruto hidden ninja village. I didn't really like getting the shrine up there casually. It seemed too random. I guess you're supposed to naturally progress to this point by doing side quests. Like this Cuckoo side quest, which is a bit annoying. The Firefly side quest, which is whatever. The Cocoa cooking side quest here is a bit tedious as well. Paya and Impa kind of carrying this village from a narrative perspective a little bit. Usability-wise, again, the Sheikah mask is great. I like it. One shop for arrows, solid. This general shop is actually solid as well, mainly because of the carrots, which can be great for speed food. Speed food being very nice to have when you want to explore. We got a goddess statue in a pretty central area. But all things considered, for me the question really is, do I like this village more than Gerudo Town? And I'm just gonna have to say no. Just because Gerudo Town still has a much stronger narrative perspective. So this will actually rank ahead of Goron City for me, but behind the other places. Again, I like it. It looks great, but the other villages are just stronger. That being said, I do like this one more than Goron City. And that's pretty much all I can say. It is a great village. I feel like I'm so used to it that I almost take it for granted because I go here so early in all of the speedruns. It is really nice. The more I walk around here, I will have to say the aesthetic is strong and probably stronger than others, but every aspect considered, it won't be enough to make it any higher. Now, no worries. There will be a village. It's going to be lower than everything, and not even its aesthetic can carry it, and that's going to be Lurelin. Lurelin is underwhelming, to say the least. It has a nice aesthetic. It is in one of my favorite regions of the game, being Necluda, where we get great sunsets. It's on the beach. It has calming, nice music. It feels a little bit like a resort. But I talked about this in the previous video, and it seemed like a lot of you guys agreed with me. It just feels like, it's almost like it feels unfinished. We got no armor set there. The quest lines feel kind of random. You have to make like a paella. And sure, there's some Koroks there. But all things considered, it just doesn't really do it for me. We have no armor set. No main storyline. Usability-wise, like, I literally don't know right now, after 6,000 hours, if there's a general shop here. Literally. I know there's the gambling minigame, which is like, whatever. I'm about to find out if there's a general store. There might be one, but I don't even know what... Oh, okay, never mind. I just remembered. The general store is like this thing, where you can buy some fish and shock arrows, but it's whatever. Like, usability-wise, is really not there. That being said, I'll show you guys a really cool way to get this annoying Korok on the hotel. If you've been watching for this long, you will be rewarded. If you know how to BLSS, this will change your life. This Korok on this house right there is one of the most annoying Koroks to get. Now watch this. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Highly recommend this way of getting the Korok seed. But also, this is awful. Yeah, we got the general store on the pier, basically, and it is pretty. Like, sure, it's a beach village. We got some music, but it just feels unfinished. I'm sad. This could have been a lot better, and unfortunately, this is just the most underwhelming village in the game for me. Gonna take the last spot just behind Goron City. So currently, the ranking is this. We only have one more village to discuss, but let me go over the ranking. Last place, Lurelin, then Goron City, then Kakariko, then Gerudo Town, then Tarrey Town, then Rito Village, and then on the first place right now, Zora's Domain. Now, we have one more village to go to, and I'm assuming a lot of you are waiting for that, because I know this is a lot of people's favorite village. And that's Hateno. Hateno is beautiful. If I wanted to describe Hateno with one word, I would say Ghibli, which might not mean something to everyone, but probably to a lot of you. It really gives you those Ghibli vibes. Ghibli movies, something that is basically confirmed to have been a big inspiration for Breath of the Wild as a video game in general. that's what I think about when I enter this town. Now we have some of these houses here, which are obviously done by the Bolson Corporation, right? This is the same style that is later used in Tarrey Town. And then obviously Link's house, which is great to have. And I'm glad that it's in Hateno. Hateno feels like home. It's a very pretty village. We got some good side quests around here. We got some shrine quests around here. Some of the side quests are a little bit tedious, like the weapon connoisseur. But when it comes to usability, this village is awesome. We got a good general store with bomb arrows, normal arrows. We got the dye shop where we can change our clothes color. We got the color. We got the tech lab where we can change our runes. We got this cooking section. Very nice. Again, solid side quests. Some of them are tedious, like the weapon connoisseur back there. Amazing, beautiful aesthetic. I'd say aesthetically, this is the only one that has a chance to beat Zora's Domain for me. Aesthetically, I would say this is number 2. Zora's Domain still wins because I don't think anything can beat it. Usability-wise, this is great. In the realm of like Tarrey Town, maybe a little bit lower. And then last but not least, and this is unfortunately what for this rating will put this village lower than maybe many of you think, to number 3. Over Tarrey Town, behind Rito Village, after making this list up in my mind, is there is not enough narrative. This is a beautiful village, it feels like home, but to really be memorable, Zora's Domain just does it for me. I'm not spending as much time in Zora's Domain as I do in Hateno, and I don't think any of you do, but the first time you get to Zora's Domain and you see that village, the story that happens there, that's enough for me to push it to number 1. That doesn't mean that's the village I spent the most time in, but it's just the most memorable for me is Zora's Domain in this game. Hateno, I think I have to put Hateno number 2. Because as much as I like Rito Village, now that I think about it, Hateno is probably the second most memorable. It feels like home, and even though there's no story there and the usefulness is up there, it's the second most memorable, I will say. And I think that's a good way to put it. Rito Village after that, Tarrey Town after that, just because aesthetically it's not quite there. It's a bit random, right, of these houses, but it's super useful. It's a great side quest that I will forever remember. Rito Village with its music is gonna be number 3. It has better storyline, it has better armor. Then we got Gerudo Town, super strong narratively, some quirks about it. Then we got Kakariko, solid village. We got Goron City. And then last, we got Lurelin. Unfortunately, missed the potential there. But that's my rating for the Breath of the Wild cities. Didn't talk about the Korok Forest village because I don't count it, or Castle Town because that's not really a town, or like small, like ruins. Obviously, we don't really count those. But that being said, that's it. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. I will be back tomorrow with more Korok hunting and completion. We did hit 35% at the same time though, probably by discovering random locations, so that's cool. Hope you guys have a great Christmas. I will see you tomorrow. Tears of the Kingdom in 137 days. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.